This week was our opposition day motion, and the NDP put forward a plan to reverse the cuts to OSAP. This government has been going full steam ahead, unfortunately in the wrong direction, with a plan that is going to target low and middle income students pursuing post-secondary and reaching for OSAP. I was able to share the voices of the community. People had written in to our impact survey, the voices that we heard at our town hall, people that I met on the high school walkouts, or on the lawns of Queen's Park. I shared a handful of those stories and hope that the government will listen. Unfortunately, they voted against our opposition day motion and seem to still be going ahead with their plan. But the fight is not over. Please continue to reach out and apply pressure to Minister Quinn, who is the minister responsible for this decision. Push him, push the Premier, if this is something that you believe in. This week was the Good Roads Conference in Toronto, and I get to serve as the official opposition shadow minister for transportation and for infrastructure. So Marit Stiles and our team went to that conference, met with the executive, listened to municipalities, and it's very important for us to move forward and make sure that roads across the province are safe. Wow, it has been a really, really hectic time at Queen's Park. So perhaps you've heard about the Premier's private luxury jet, an almost $30 million purchase that his entire cabinet apparently approved. Well, the pushback was fierce. I've heard from many of you. And the Premier did a U-turn and has apparently sold off the jet. It will continue to haunt him though. And if my inbox is any indicator, people are pretty revved up about this. To buy a $30 million personal private luxury jet when people can't afford groceries, it's not a good look and it's not the right decision for a government. I have called on this Premier to help us get our express train back. If he can have a gravy plane, we should have an express train. A few of the votes this week that are worth note: we tried to get the government to support a ban on surveillance pricing. Basically what that means is the big corporations are watching us through AI and online, and they change their prices based on who you are. If they think that I'd be willing to pay a little bit more than someone else because they see my spending habits, they see where I live, then they can do that. So it's about having consistent pricing for everyone for the same product. Unfortunately, the government voted against that. And it was also chance to vote against the budget. Now remember, in this budget was the government changing FOI rules to make sure that the Premier didn't have to share his phone records. This is about removing the Premier and the front bench, all the cabinet ministers, from FOI, from being accountable under the Freedom of Information laws. So that's a huge problem. That was in the budget, so was the jet plane, and I was very proud to vote against it. So what's coming up at Queen's Park? We've got lots of committee, the Better Regional Governance Act that takes away our right to elect our regional chair, among other things. That will be at committee and then coming back to the House. The education bill is one that we're still talking about, and we'll be starting the fight about Billy Bishop Airport. So stay tuned on that.